All right, everyone, we are live. Thank you for joining us if you're tuning in live. If not, if you're watching the rebroadcast, thank you for watching that as well. Today we have a awesome guest. It's an honor to bring him on. We've been friends on social media for I don't know, maybe about 3 years now or something like that. But yeah, it's great. This is you guys are in for a treat because this is like our first time like talking audio voice to voice. So
Literally.
I think it'll be interesting to so it's the first time just doing that in general. And we're doing interviews, so it'll be filled with a lot of good surprises, hopefully. But for everyone, I want to introduce to you Jamond. He's a personal trainer out of the Detroit area in Michigan. For I mean, you guys in America know that, but for our international viewers, he's from the state of Michigan, Detroit. So he is a personal trainer. So Jamond, if you wanna just give people a quick intro about yourself, please.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Jamad. I'm a personal trainer out of the Metro Detroit area. Uh, been doing my thing for quite a while now, and I'm just here to tell you about my journey.
Awesome. Thank you. So just to start off, about how long have you been like an independent trainer for?
I've been an independent trainer for about 2.5 years now.
Oh,
It's been a little off and on at the beginning, but I've started to come to.
awesome, cool. So yeah, we'll kind of take it back now. So like growing up in the Detroit area, so like can you give the people kind of little bit of your upbringing in terms of like just general fitness and exercise? Like, did you grow up playing a lot of sports when you were a kid, like in throughout like elementary, middle school, high school? Can you give the people like a brief summary of that?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Well, I started playing. Let's see, my first sport that I was playing would be baseball. I started playing baseball at a young age, elementary school. I can't remember exactly what grade level I was at, but I remember it vividly for the team colors being orange. We were the Cubs, Pontiac Cubs.
Okay.
Um, from there, I went and played basketball that same exact year. Uh, Pontiac Pirates made a lot of great friends, learned about the whole team aspect of basically life, really. You can't do anything by yourself. That's what the coach always taught us. Uh, and from there, I played football as well. What was that? That was the crud. I cannot remember the name. Pontiac Panthers. There it is. Yeah, they always had me as the big guy, short, stocky, big guy. So I played offensive lineman, uh, defensive lineman. I was just the person you did not want to meet on that line.
Oh,
uh, Fast forward a bit, I played more basketball and a little bit more baseball, more so basketball, uh, going up into my high school years. Played basketball during middle school. Uh, Learned a lot more about my skill set, more about myself. Going through that phase. Granted, I did not play basketball during high school. Uh, I just had to take the time out for myself. But I did wrestle and play baseball, as well as play football for the last year of high school. So, and going on into college, I did do a lot of rec league activities with basketball now. So
okay, that's awesome, cool. So yeah, sounds like you were very involved in sports growing up, various different sports. So I mean, what would you, out of like all the sports you did, like what was your favorite sport you did?
shockingly, it will be baseball.
Oh, okay.
Baseball was one of the most interesting sports I've played, just because I was playing third baseman and catcher. You go back and talk to some of the people that I was on the team with in high school, they tell you that I did some amazing feats that I didn't know were actually happening at the time. But there's a lot of great stories out there. I just have to find the right people to tell it.
Yeah, because that's interesting. You say catcher and third baseman; those are like the most. I mean, probably outside of pitching, that's probably like the two most like high pressure like positions to have. Because catcher. I mean, you're
Yeah,
kind
you
of
can't let that
controlling.
ball get past you.
Yeah, you gotta be in unison with the pitcher, of course. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then,
definitely.
third base, the hot corner. If you let balls go down the line, that's not good. That's the easy, triple or something. But
Yeah, can't give up those extra bases. Coach would yell at you for years.
but yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So like, when would you say you actually started considering, getting into the health and fitness industry? I mean, obviously you're in it now, but like, what age or like what period in your life did you say to yourself, "Yeah, oh, I wanna make, personal training or even just fitness in general. I wanna make a career out of it."
Literally almost 3 years to this date, I had a vague idea that I wanted to go into the health and fitness industry. Uh, Simply because I was always going to the gym to work on myself. Uh, it took a while to figure it out. I would jump from place to place, job to job, until I actually figured out what I wanted to do. For instance, I went um, when I first started college, right out of high school. I went to Lawrence Tech. Went to Lawrence Tech to pursue architecture. I figured out that that really wasn't the field that I wanted to go into. It was changing and somewhat on a decline in my mind, so I wanted to change out of that. I figured that I would go to OCC and pursue a social worker career. Didn't take me too long to figure out that that would cause me to have a mental breakdown quicker than anything in this world. Just listening to the problems and trying not to embody those problems, it was going to take me on a journey. So I decided to step away from that, and I also went for marketing. I went to Baker for about a year and a half. Figured that I would do a bit of marketing because I was always into some sort of sales when I would do work. Um, and I finally ended at Specs Howard for graphic design. Sorry, just getting over a cold here. Went to Specs Howard for graphic design. Finished that off. Loved that. But while I was going through the graphic design program, is when I figured out that I want to do something that would benefit me and benefit everyone else at the same time. So I decided to go into physical fitness because while uh, progressing through my term at Specs, I was always at the gym constantly. And I just saw a lot of people that wanted a bit more information. They would always come up to me and say, "Hey, how do you do this? How do you work this machine? How would you go about flattening your stomach?" And I'll give them the information and they would be extremely grateful. So at that point, I said, I want to be a personal trainer.
Oh wow, that's awesome. So it just kind of came to you organically through, like, working out was already just a regular personal interest you had. You weren't really thinking about, making money or making a career out of it, but you're just doing something you truly were passionate about. And then, of
Yeah.
course, it showed, through your body. And then, other people see you at the gym and they just naturally gravitated towards you. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Definitely.
So like after after you noticed people would approach you at the gym, like how long did it take you to uh to get the ball rolling and to become an actual, official trainer?
It took a little while. The biggest thing is actually building up a client base that will actually pay you. That's the biggest hurdle that you'll face in anything, especially when it comes to selling yourself. Uh, is finding that group that really is about working out for you. They want to work out. They're dedicated. Not saying that people aren't dedicated. It's just that sometimes financial problems happen and they're not able to pay, or sometimes they just can't get themselves out of bed. At that point, you have to find it in yourself to become that motivational speaker, that health coach, that coach that you always had growing up when you were playing sports. You just have to find a way to talk to people. That's the biggest thing. So it took me about, I would say, literally about a half a year, 6 months to about 8 months to get the ball rolling on all of that. Right now is still a bit stagnant just because of the weather in Michigan. Everybody's still skeptical about going to the gym. So once the weather picks up and gets a little bit warmer, that's when I start my outdoor sessions and people love it.
Oh, awesome, awesome, cool. So that's cool. So can you elaborate on so like where or what was your main source of obtaining new clients?
It would literally be it would literally be networking through friends and family.
Okay.
Uh, they would come to me, ask me for a little bit of advice, and then uh, a nice amount of them would actually hire me as their trainer and love the results going through with it. But as time went on, they would love the results a little too much and think that they could go on their own and uh, just just keep that body without working out. Come to find out, it's a lot harder than you may think. You can always eat well; that'll be great, but you have to do that eating well and working out at the same time. Has to be all one motion.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. So, yeah, you said you got your clients mostly through networking. Like, about like what? Can you give us like a rough percentage of clients that you met exclusively through the gym you worked out at?
Nice percentage. We'll be looking at about, I would probably say 21%. Um,
Okay.
just from people seeing me work out. It's just they see you work out, they see you having fun. You got to have fun with it, with whatever you do. So they see you having fun while working out, which a lot of people don't really see. At that point, they're like, I want to know what he knows and I want to do what he's doing so I can have fun while I get healthy. That was the biggest thing.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So, like, can you like give us an example of like someone like what would someone say to you like they saw you at the gym working out and like how would they approach you and like what would they say to you to get that conversation going where they would hire you to be their trainer?
Be pretty general conversation. Uh, they'll see me. Let's put it into a scenario for you. Say, for instance, I'm doing some leg lifts, doing a few leg lifts, listening to my music while I work out. It's always to a random rhythm, and I'm always smiling. So they'll catch a glimpse of me doing that. They'll catch a glimpse of me doing that, smiling, having a great time. And once I'm done with my routine at that specific station, they'll come over and say, "Hey, um, how do you stay so fit? How do you have that much energy to do this and just keep going?" And I would tell them, It's more so about the mind state that you're in. You have to come in and say, this isn't a task that's going to burden me. It's this task that's going to help me. It's going to help me through a lot more things than just looking great. It's a mental thing. It helps you from depression and things of that nature. It helps you want to stay inside of the gym just because you'll notice once you leave the gym or stop working out, things become a bit sluggish. So I'm always in that happy mood. And they'll ask me to help them out with a few routines to get their form right. And at that point, they would come back and say, "Hey, can you actually train me? Uh, I would pay anything for you to train me." And I said, "Okay, yeah." Give them my rates, things of that nature. Give them my business card, and it'll go from there.
Oh, awesome. That's cool. That's cool. So the gym you work out at, is it like a big gym or is it a smaller gym, medium gym? What would you say?
Uh, it's actually a bit. It's a Planet Fitness. I just go there to do my regular workout routines. It's one of the bigger Planet Fitnesses around the area. They tend to be grateful to have people there. So,
Hmm.
but typically, most of my clients like to do the outside routines just to get a bit of fresh air. So that's where I would do most of my routines at, especially at the local school tracks and things of that nature, where we can have tires, do some pull ups, more so work out with your body weight as opposed to weights, because a lot of people tend to stray away from the weights. They don't like to lift heavy things, they just like to tone up.
Oh, okay, I see. That's cool. So that's interesting. So when you say like if you go to an outdoor setting at like a school track or something, like when you go there, does that outdoor facility already have like the tires and stuff, or do you have to bring your own equipment?
The facilities that I go to typically have the equipment there already. A few tires, we run around the track. Uh, we're basically working out on football field, so we got the yard markers, and we can just go from there. Work out the cardio, work out with your upper body strength and lower body strength and things of that nature. So it's pretty much all provided for you. You just got to know where to look.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. So you mentioned during summer you do outdoor sessions. So are those more group sessions or one-on-one sessions?
I've been having a lot of one-on-one sessions outside, but I will have a few group sessions from time to time. People bring their friends to encourage them to actually get into the healthy side of life, and I encourage it 100%. It's always good to have somebody to work out with because sometimes you can be a bit lackadaisical when it comes to working out by yourself. And I can admit that 100% because I go through the same thing. I'm human just like everyone else, but you just got to find a way to push through it. But typically, having that friend with you, got to do it.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, for sure, definitely. It's good to have like they call it an accountability partner for a lot of
Definitely.
things. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so going back to Planet Fitness, so I mean, yeah, you're training people there, but are there like rules about having like private trainers? Because I know some gyms, I think like I used to be a member at 24 Hour Fitness. I think they had a rule like the only trainers allowed there were like the actual employees of the gym. But like,
Yeah,
what are the rules
it's the
regarding that?
same rule. It's the same rules. No private training, which is why my when it comes to the winter months, it slows down a lot because I tend not to go against their rules so I can keep my gym membership and things of that nature. I would hate to lose out on the opportunity to constantly work out throughout the year. So I slowed down with that purposely.
Hmm.
It was a little 50-50, but more so that I could keep my membership. and I like to train more so outside myself just because of those reasons. It's always good to keep in mind the rules that you have to abide by in order to keep yourself up and on the up and up.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. So I think an interesting dynamic you brought up is, up north in Michigan, you got. I mean, I grew up in the Chicago area, so
Yeah, so
it's like about maybe half the year it's pretty cold outside. So like, how does that? I mean, you kind of spoken it already about, it could slow down during winter. So like what would you like tell people like that live in colder climate areas, like Michigan, Illinois, etc. Like how can they stay consistent throughout the year, despite, the weather?
um, that's that's definitely a hurdle that that a lot of people will have to meet up with. The biggest thing is just don't lose hope, don't lose focus, uh, because you're going to have those spikes from time to time, especially seeing as, like you said, we're cold for a majority of the year. Um, but you can always do house calls. If the client wouldn't mind you coming to their home and doing a home session, I do those from time to time. A few people just say, "Hey, can you come to my house? We could do body weight exercises there." I say, "Yeah, of course." So at that point, I work out a routine that wouldn't be uh, too harsh on the body, but will still get you that good workout outside of the gym. Um, so it's pretty much about keeping hope alive and not getting down on yourself because the weather is getting cold.
Hmm.
Find new ways to be revolutionary.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So like you mentioned, house calls. Like, does the client, do they actually need any type of equipment at their home, or like can you go to their home and, guide a great workout without any equipment?
Yeah, you can definitely go to the home and guide a workout without any equipment. It's just about what you have around the house. Like you can do dips with chairs, work on your push ups, do some sit ups. You can do a full body workout at home without any equipment. It's just about how you go about things. Literally, I used to do a lot of in home workouts when I used to live out in Jackson, Michigan, just because I didn't really feel like going outside. It was too cold. I said, I'll just stay in. I'll do a few workouts, get a nice sweat in. And at that point, you could just take a shower and be done with it for the day. It's always something that you can do in order to keep your body healthy and fit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Definitely. So let's kind of shift our focus to the nutrition side. So, I mean, talked a lot about, how you guide, your clients through exercises, whether at the gym, outdoors, or at home. So, as a personal trainer, like, how do you? I mean, you can't watch your clients at home, like, you know what I mean? You can't stalk them and just watch them all day and see what they're eating. So, like, like, how does that work? Like, do you develop a nutrition plan for them, or do you just give them like general diet advice? Like, how does the nutritional side work from as being a trainer?
When it comes to my method, I typically give them general advice, depending upon what body style they're going towards. Some people want to gain weight, some people want to tone up, some people want to actually lose weight. At that point, I give them general advice. I always tell, no matter what client I have, I always tell them to stay away from fried foods. That stays on your body the longest, and it's literally the hardest thing to get rid of. That fat is almost fat that stays forever. So
Mhm.
always stay away from fried foods. If you're looking to gain or bulk up, I always say go towards the proteins more heavy protein diet. So get your chicken, your peanut butter, some salmon to get those good those good fats in you, and everything of that nature. If you're trying to tone up, I would say cut back on some of the meats. More so, do a and you could I would still say go towards the chicken and salmon side, but also eat a lot more fruits and veggies. And if you're trying to lose, you can still eat the chicken and everything, just cut back on it a little bit more and stick more towards the fruits and veggies. But some people actually would like the set in stone diet plan. So at that point, I would work something out with what they're looking for body goal wise, and uh, just take a little time to see their eating habits. I like to figure out their actual eating habits so I can figure out what exactly to tweak for them. That way, it's not too much of a drastic change. That way, they're not discouraged completely.
Oh, interesting, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's cool. I never hired a personal trainer before. So this is it's great information for sure. Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so let's say there's, someone out there, they're just getting out of high school, and let's say they're already, pretty fit and into, fitness already, working out and nutrition. So let's say, they're considering, being a personal trainer themselves. So how can that person prepare themselves to, actually become an official trainer? Like, what is there any like educational materials they have to read? Like what concrete steps would that person have to take to be a official trainer?
Okay. Uh, well, in a few states, well, in Michigan, you technically don't need to have any certification to be a trainer. That's one of the good things. So you can go about it, actually use your experiences to help others out. But the biggest thing is you have to realize that everybody's not built the same. Uh, you can look up a few things on the internet. Just do a lot of research. Don't go to one source. Don't just take everything at face value. You have to go in depth, do a lot of research. You gotta get down into the books, basically. Get
Mhm.
down into the web pages. You go out to the library, find some books. Those typically have great information in them for training and everything of that nature. But if you do want to go towards the licensing portion, it's going to cost, I believe, it's around 6 to 800 to get started. So it's going to be a venture. It's definitely going to be a venture. It took me a while to get that portion going. It's a uphill battle to say the least. But like I said before, you got to keep hope alive, keep a good positive mindset, and remember that everybody's not like you. Everybody's not a physical monster, or everybody's not extremely fit. Some people want to are just starting their fitness journey. Some people have been there for a while. Some people have been there and haven't had any success, so they're discouraged. Is finding out your clients, and that's going to be the biggest thing that you have to overcome, regardless of if you have the license or not. Is figuring out how to become personable with your clients. So,
Oh, okay, that's awesome. Cool, cool. Excuse me. So yeah, speaking of that now, I want to dive into like the business slash sales side of being a trainer, because of course, you can have all the knowledge and skills in the world, but I mean, you still got to draw the clients in and keep them, and also at the same time, you got to make sure you're making money yourself and you're covering your own expenses. So can you kind of like brief us with how you handle, the business side of things?
when it comes to the business side of things, you always want to have a set income. Don't just instantly go into it. You want you want this to be a side job before it becomes a main job because it's going to take a while for it to start up. Do it on the side, get a few clients, build that client base up, and at that point, you can go ahead and make it your main source of income. But until it matches your current income, don't make it your main source of income. I'm still going through phases where I have to go find another job. So right now I'm bartending, and that brings in a nice amount of revenue for myself to keep my bills paid and everything of that nature. And I just work around that schedule. As long as you have a set schedule that you can work around that works for your clients, you'll be golden. So the biggest thing is never try to make this your main income first, just because you're going to have a lot of hurdles that you overcome.
Oh wow, awesome. That's great advice. Great advice. So can you elaborate more on just selling yourself? Like, how do you? I mean, back earlier in the interview, you talked about how you're always smiling, having fun. People notice that about you. So, what else do you have to do to sell yourself to potential clients to make them want to hire you, to make them like your guy when it comes to personal training?
Oh, well, aside from me always smiling and marketing myself in that fashion, you have to learn that not everybody's going to want you to be the trainer. Uh, you got to go ahead and put yourself out there. Everybody's not going to say yes. Everybody's not going to follow through, but you'll find those clients that actually want to follow through and want to stick with it. It's a numbers game, literally. You go out there and you market yourself to everybody. I don't care who it is. You just have to find out how to market yourself. Figure out what they like to do, what they're into. Or if you just want to do the basic marketing scheme, you can put your business card into their window once you make business cards or a flyer or something of that nature. But the biggest thing is market yourself to everyone humanly possible, friends, family, people you don't know. Just just be cautious of how you do it and where you do it.
Mm-hmm. I see. I see. That's cool. So like speaking of like the kind of that brings up something in my mind. Like you mentioned, like you'll market to people you don't know. So like, would you do a house call like for the very first session of someone like you don't know? Like, would you feel safe doing that, or like, are you okay with doing that?
Me myself, I'm typically okay with it. As long as we have a good connection, a good vibe. I'm typically a good judge of character when it comes to that. But if you have any type of feeling that was make you say otherwise, I would say don't do that house call at first. You fill them out a little bit. Make sure that they're legitimately that person that you that they say they are. Because unfortunately, not everyone is the kind of individual. Some people have malicious intent, but if you typically can gain that ground and have them trust you and you trust them as well, that point, yeah, you can go ahead and do the house call. Just always be wary of your surroundings. Always have eyes in the back of your head.
Yeah.
But typically, I find people that when they say they want to do something and they have a house call, they're down for it and they're not trying to do anything malicious. So I've been lucky in that aspect.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Awesome. So like for personal trainers, like, do you do you talk to other personal trainers? Like, do you guys have your own community where you just talk about, different issues or challenges, problems, or even, accomplishments? Like, do you guys have like your own community locally where you guys talk?
Yeah, somewhat. I have a few people that are trainers that I know, like my younger brother, for instance. He's actually a boxer. He's going into the pro circuit pretty soon. He's a personal trainer. We talk about the hardships of being a personal trainer, where we would change up how we would go about training people with certain type of say for instance they have a injury, they have a leg injury, how we would go about that, how we would actually help them out to rehab, things of that nature. And also I've just gotten into contact with somebody that's a personal trainer in Canada, literally networking while I was at work just the other night. Found out he had a ACL tear and he rehabbed himself into near perfect condition in just 8 months, 6 to 8 months. So I just got into contact with him, and it's we're gonna go from there and see what we can find out about each other, how we can network, and how we can help each other grow. It's all about having people behind you and being behind other people because, like I said earlier, you can't do a lot by yourself. You can't really do anything by yourself. You always have to have a team that you can trust, that's going to have your back and you have their back.
Wow, awesome, awesome. That's cool. Awesome. So speaking of that, like you mentioned, your younger brother, he's in boxing, and then the man you met at the bar, he rehabbed from ACL. So when it comes to just the general field of like personal training, like is there like different specialties, like with different sports, or someone specializing like just in like injury rehab? Like, can you talk more about your trainers with different specialties?
Yeah, definitely. You do have a nice amount of different fields. Like you have the sports trainers who specifically train the body for a specific sport. Uh, and they help you rehab as well. And you also have the rehab trainers who literally just rehab you from an injury. They know all about um, how to rehab certain injuries to make sure that you don't injure it in the process. They want to take it slow. So typically, when you're rehabbing, you want to take the processes slow. You don't want to force it too much because you don't want to re-injure that. You don't want to re-injure yourself. When it comes down to sports training, typically you're going to be doing set. You're going to be doing set reps of different things just to work on different routines and things of that nature. You also have those who specialize in weight loss. Um, a lot of people want to go towards weight loss because they feel as if they're a bit too heavy or they don't like the way their body look. So at that point, they'll come into play and they'll help you out with your weight loss, and they're more so geared towards the nutrition side as well. They'll tell you about your nutrition, what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, and you also have trainers like me. I do strength training and toning. So I'll help you out with your strength with bulking up if you want to bulk up, or just simple toning, which takes place with body weight exercises as opposed to actually weighted exercises. So it's a nice amount of training you can go into. You just have to find which one fits you.
Oh, okay, awesome, awesome. That's awesome. I didn't really. I mean, I knew a little bit about it, but that's awesome the way you broke it down. So now that you've been a official trainer for over a couple years now, like so as a trainer, like what do you do to like continue your education? Like how do you like stay sharp and stay up on the ever changing knowledge and technology in uh in your field?
It's always about reading. You always got to keep your mind sharp with reading. You can go online, like I said, you can go online and find a lot, but you have to read a lot. You have to sift through things that may not actually be true depending upon what article you're reading. I tend to go towards more scholarly readings just to make sure that I have a bit of a credibility behind what I'm reading. You can also, at that point, going to the library might help just because you can see the old way of how things used to work. or a slightly less updated way of how things will work. Just because books don't give you the up to date information as readily as the internet does. But the biggest thing is with the internet, you have to sift through a lot of things. You have to sift through a lot. So it's all about reading. You cannot go without reading or without your experiences, but you got to keep up on it. So I would say read and read well.
Uh-huh. Awesome. Yeah, I mean that's probably true for like a lot of different, fields that people work in. Just gotta things are always changing, definitely. So you don't want to get left behind.
Oh yeah, not today's day and age.
Yeah. So I want to talk about too. Let's say someone is looking to get in better shape, whatever it may be. So like, how would you choose like the right personal trainer for you? Like, how does someone? I mean, there's like a lot of different, gyms, private trainers out there. So how would someone find a trainer that would just be the most compatible with them?
First thing would be figure out what you actually want to do with your body. Uh, Sometimes losing weight isn't always a thing. You can be 200 pounds and have a gut and be 200 pounds and be toned up. So figure out if you actually want to lose the weight, if you do, um, or if you just want to tone. And if you want to bulk, make that known. Make that known to the trainer. Make that one of the biggest things that you display. Say, I want to gain weight. I want to gain muscle, or I want to tone up, or I want to lose weight, or I just want to work on my general health and not really change my body at all. At that point, you would figure out. You'll talk with the trainer, figure out what their overall view is, and from there, see if you connect with them. Because the biggest thing is the connection. If you don't connect with the trainer that you're going to, it's going to be a bit harder just because you're going to be seeing them and they're going to be trying to motivate you throughout the whole process. And the same goes for the trainers. You have to connect with that client because it's going to be a lot harder for you to convey a message if they're not actually on par with you. So that'll be the biggest thing to watch out for when you're trying to get fit.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for sure. So when you speak about motivation, I mean, I know people, see like on social media, you see like those pictures, like motivational pictures and quotes and stuff like that. So like in real life as a personal trainer, like are you like are you saying kind of the same stuff you see online, or is your motivation like are you like customizing motivation just for that one person you're training?
It will be more so customized than the motivation, uh, because everybody doesn't isn't wired the same. They're not thinking the same, and they don't all have the same goals. So at that point, you could have someone that doesn't respond well to a harsh environment. So you have to motivate them with laughter, with smiling, with good compliments, things of that nature. But you also want to be sure that they're not going to slow down because they feel as if they're too lax. So you got to find that happy medium. Some people want you to be hard on them. Some people only respond to that harsh environment where they can actually push themselves and say, okay, let's go, let's go. You at that point, it's just literally you got to figure them out. Sometimes it takes a little while.
Mhm.
Trust me, I've had a few clients where I just could not. I'm like, wait, okay, so if I do this, if I'm smiling too much, they slow down. But if I come back a little too harsh, they slow down a bit more. And it can be a bit agitating and a bit frustrating. But you gotta take a breath, relax, and know that you got this and they're working towards a goal and you're working towards helping them towards that goal.
Oh, okay, I got you. I got you. That's cool. That's cool. So like, where do you see like the future of the health and wellness industry? Like, do you feel like more people are wanting to book trainers, or do you feel like it's kind of the same or declining? Like how do you see the fitness industry? Like, how do you see that trend going?
It's on the up and up. It's on the rise, definitely. A lot of people are looking to hire trainers, but sometimes the financial aspect doesn't help them out in that situation. But everybody wants to get fit. Everybody wants to be healthier. I really shouldn't say get fit. It should be more so being healthy because working out isn't always about being fit. It's about keeping yourself in a good mind state, keeping yourself healthy, making sure that you can handle every day to day task that comes your way. Like you can be big and still be healthy. It's just over time you'll notice that your body may change. But it's really about just figuring everything out for yourself.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Oh, I forgot what I was gonna ask. Hold on. What was I gonna ask? Oh crap. I'm kind of blanking out. I had a question. It was okay, I asked you about, the trends. So like right now, like do you feel like is there like a surplus of trainers out there? Like do you feel like the market is saturated, or do you think there's a shortage of trainers out there?
Um, I would probably say a little bit of both. An aspect of everybody wants to be a trainer. Uh, you got a lot of people that played sports that want to push their knowledge on to other people, but they don't know how to connect with people. At that point, you have that shortage of personal trainers because the trainers that are out there don't know how to connect. They don't know how to actually gain the confidence of the people that they're talking to. Um, so it's a little bit of both, uh, just in that crazy aspect of figuring out exactly how to connect with everyone.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. So, yeah, so you mentioned, so like, if someone wanted to go down that path to be a official personal trainer, I think like the key aspects you really emphasized were, you gotta have, pretty good people skills to relate to people, because of course you're dealing with a person at the end of the day. You gotta have, your actual, scientific knowledge of the body, exercises, nutrition, and you also you gotta have like it kind of ties into people skills, but you gotta be like a good salesman as well.
Definitely.
I was like, you gotta be a good salesman, got have your actual physical knowledge. Oh, yeah, and just you gotta know the business side too and people skills. So I mean, it's a lot. It's not just, oh, I'm jacked or I'm ripped, so I can automatically off the bat be an amazing personal trainer and make six figures right off the bat. Like it doesn't
Yeah,
work like that at all.
yeah, not at all. Yeah, I
Oh,
came into it with that mindset a few years before I actually wanted to get into it, and it just didn't work out. I said, I don't fit. I can do it, but realized I needed more people skills. So life prepared me for it, and I just took it as it came.
uh-huh. Oh, okay, that's cool. So I mean, yeah, so being a personal trainer is basically, being your own business. So saying that, like how would you as a personal trainer, how would you build your own personal brand? Like how like, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, I don't know, Ford, they all got their own brand that people, when they see that logo or they hear that name in their mind, they're already thinking
Okay.
about the product itself. So how do you as a trainer, how do you build your own brand so when people like see your logo or they hear your name, they'll automatically think of good things and want to do business with you?
Well, it starts with the marketing, really. You gotta know exactly what you want to do, what you specialize in. You have to do a lot of soul searching, essentially. So at that point, you figure out your not your slogan, but your and it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't say it.
Hmm.
Your vision and your mission statement. Uh, Figure out exactly how you want to say it, who you're marketing to, uh, who your primary market will be. At that point, you figure that out, go down the chain of command, say, okay, so what would the slogan be? What would be catchy for this generation, this age group, this whichever you want to go towards. If you want to market more towards females, if you want to market more towards males, do you want to be more masculine with the slogan, more feminine with the slogan? It's literally all about who you're marketing to. At that point, once you figure out who you really want to market to, it makes things a lot easier. At that point, you create that slogan, you create that logo, or have someone create it for you. Uh, it goes a long way. And figure out exactly what colors work with the slogan, what colors work with what you're going towards, and boom. It's not as easy as I make it sound. Trust me, it's not. I went through the ringer with a few things. Right now, I got my brand, Versatile Physique. That'll be coming around the world pretty soon. I'm trying to get that to be a global thing. And I'm working on a YouTube page as well. It's a process.
Oh, awesome, cool. Yeah. Yeah, let me know the link to that later, and I'll subscribe to that.
Most definitely.
But yeah. So we're at 52 minutes, so I'll start winding down now. So now that we're at the end, I asked this to all the people I interview on the channel. So let's say there's a younger person out there. Let's say they're already in great shape. They got their own routine down. They got great nutrition. Let's say they already have pretty good people skills already, and they're a pretty bright person as well. But I mean, like deep down, they really want to be a personal trainer, but for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe their parents, friends, whoever is in their ear telling them, "Oh, you shouldn't pursue personal training. You gotta go with something more stable, like be an engineer or a doctor, lawyer, whatever." Nothing wrong with those professions, but that might not be their passion. But they know they got the tools to do it, but they feel like they're being held back. So like what would you tell that person to, get them out of get them out of a rut and just motivate them to not listen to the naysayers and to actually, pursue their dreams of being a personal trainer?
uh, to keep it simple, follow your passion. Because even if you were to go into the fields of, say, a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, you're not always guaranteed that position. It's you got to work hard regardless of what you do. So what everybody's saying is going to be hard. It's going to be this. It's not stable. Nothing is truly stable in life. Nothing is actually going to be cut, paste, and dry. That simple. It's always going to be some bumps in the road, some hurdles you got to overcome. So if you really want to do it, pursue it. It's going to take some time, just like with anything else. But if you know that you actually want to do it, go full ahead, full steam, and do your thing.
Awesome. Well said. Well said. Awesome. But yeah, we're at 54 minutes now, so I'm gonna wrap this up now. Everyone, thank you again for joining us live, or if you're gonna watch us later on the restream, thank you for watching, and Excuse me. If you haven't already, please like the video, subscribe, and after you subscribe, press the bell so that you can get the notifications every time we go live or I post a new video. And I want to thank Jamanda again for joining us, for sharing a lot of great advice and tips for everyone out
Thank you
there.
for having me.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So thank you again, guys, and till next time, see you later.
See ya.
See ya.